The second episode of House of the Dragons is out, and man, what an absolute treat it was. House of the Dragons Season 1, Episode 1 firmly established its place in the Game of Thrones timeline and started placing its pieces on the board for the chess match that will follow across Season 1's King Landing-centric story. Now, with Episode 2 out in the open, let us today give you a few of the major pointers that we all need to remember as the season progresses. Number 1, House of the Dragon reveals its first villain. House of the Dragon's first big villain is the Crab Feeder. As the Free Cities wage war in the Stepstones and threaten Valyrian shipping lanes, Corlys and Daemon will shift their focus to attacking House of the Dragon's first official villain. Crab Feeder, whose real name was revealed to be Kragas Drahar, named himself Prince of the Triarchy, with House of the Dragon explaining that he kills or injures Westerosi sailors and leaves them in the Stepstones for crabs to feed on. 2. King Viserys chooses to marry Alicent Hightower. King Viserys the First Targaryen chooses to take Alicent Hightower as his second wife, and this decision causes a strife within the Great Houses. The ending of House of the Dragons Episode 2 already hinted at the problems to come once King Viserys marries Alicent, so let us keep our eyes open as to how the situation progresses in the future. 3. Ser Ryam Redwyne's death. So, for those who don't know him, Ser Ryam Redwyne was the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, but more importantly, he's a hero of the Starks. His reputation and recognition is such that even years after his death, Ser Ryam's name was still highly regarded among the knights and some big names of the Game of Thrones era. Jon Snow pretended to be him in sword fights with Robb Stark as a child. Bran dreamed of being a knight like him. Characters ranging from Jaime Lannister to Varys mention him as being an exemplary knight. 4. An important page of Westeros history. One of the most significant part of Westeros history are the Stepstones. Myth has it that Westeros and Essos were once joined by a land bridge known as the Arm of Dorne, which was used by the first men for their invasion. The Children of the Forest are said to have used magic to break the Arm of Dorne, leaving behind these small islands that will become the Stepstones. 5. The Free Cities of Essos. The Free Cities of Essos include Braavos, Lorath, Lys, Myr, Norvos, Pentos, Qohor, Tyrosh, and Volantis. Now, we may all remember Braavos as its significance because of Arya Stark in the Game of Thrones, and now we know that these free cities were still as significant back when the Targaryens ruled the Seven Kingdoms with a fiery iron fist. Number 6. Is that one of Daenerys' dragon eggs? Episode 2 of House of the Dragon shows off its dragons, Craxus and Syrax, even more than the premiere. But also part of its story revolves around a dragon egg stolen by Daemon Targaryen, having previously been chosen for Balon's cradle. In Game of Thrones, Daenerys' dragon eggs were presented as a wedding gift from Illyrio Mopatis, but their exact origins weren't revealed. That said, while it looks similar, that probably isn't Daenerys' dragon egg because it's not a direct match. And now that Rhaenyra has taken it back, it suggests the current Targaryens will be looking to hatch it themselves, meaning it's more unlikely to resurface over a century and a half later. Number 7. Blood Mages. The mention of Blood Mages is one of House of Dragon's Easter eggs that connects Daenerys Targaryen. The Blood Mages of Valyria were incredibly powerful, practicing the darkest forms of sorcery, though they largely died out with the doom of Valyria. Number 8. There were 1,000 dragons in Old Valyria. When looking over his model of Valyria, King Viserys mentions that the Valyrian freehold was home to 1,000 dragons at the height of its power. Now that's a startling claim, even for Viserys, yet it's somewhat plausible. After all, there were 40 noble houses, most believed to be dragon lords. If each had a few dragons, then it would be at least in the hundreds, and that's before factoring in wild dragons. Number 9. The last dragon from Aegon's conquest. One of House of Dragon's Easter eggs is teasing another of the dragons who will be appearing later in the show, Vhagar. Alongside Balerion, the Black Dread, and Meraxes, Vhagar was one of the 3 dragons flown by the Targaryens during Aegon's conquest, with Vhagar ridden by Visenya. Number 8. House of the Dragon returns to Dragonstone. The setting on the long walkway up to the castle feels reminiscent of Game of Thrones Season 7, where Jon Snow met with Tyrion Lannister before going on to meet Daenerys for the very first time. And there's also some familial musical notes of the theme typically used for dragons in Game of Thrones. Number 11. The Realm's Second Sons. Corlys and Daemon are the realm's second sons, a line that has a couple of Game of Thrones connections, as well as being the name of the sellsword company led by Daario Naharis, Second Sons. Moreover, the line also calls to mind the link between another second son, Stannis Baratheon. Like Daemon, he was brother to a king, never made hand, even though he believed it his position, thought himself the rightful heir to the Iron Throne, and was based on Dragonstone for a time being. And those were all the major pointers that we took away from episode 2. Hope you liked it. If you did, do come back again next week for our next episode, because we'll be covering that too, as soon as it's out. With that, we've come to the end of this video too. We hope that you enjoyed it thoroughly, and thanks for watching. Now, if you want to keep watching more videos like these, do consider hitting that subscribe button and smash the like button as well. You're watching Factaholic. We'll see you in the next one.